The night was meant to be enchanting, a celebration of love and unity at an elegant gala in the heart of the city. For Ethan, it was an opportunity to reconnect with his wife, Olivia, amid the laughter and music that filled the air. But what started as an evening full of promise would slowly unravel, revealing a devastating truth, one that would change their lives forever. As the evening progressed, Ethan couldn't ignore the subtle but noticeable shift in Olivia's behavior. The first sign that something was wrong came when, much to his disappointment, Olivia chose to dance with someone else. Ryan, a colleague she had been growing closer to. Ethan tried to suppress the unease building within him, the nagging feeling that something was off. Their marriage, once the envy of their social circle, now felt fragile under the weight of unspoken doubts. Ethan and Olivia's life together had always appeared flawless. At 36, Ethan, a successful entrepreneur, had built a comfortable life from years of hard work. Olivia, 34, radiated charm and sophistication, effortlessly drawing attention wherever she went. Their marriage seemed like a fairy tale, luxurious vacations, a beautiful home, and a circle of friends that seemed unbreakable. But beneath the picture-perfect facade, Ethan had started noticing signs of growing distance between them. Olivia, once fully engaged in their conversations, now seemed more absorbed in her social life, prioritizing parties and networking over quiet nights at home with him. Ethan wrestled with the creeping feeling of alienation. His attempts to be supportive, convincing himself that Olivia's outgoing nature was just a phase, did little to ease his rising anxiety. The late-night texts that went unexplained, the vague responses to his questions, and her constant need to check her phone pointed to something he couldn't ignore. Still, he tried to silence his doubts, unsure if he was just being paranoid. The gala, a glamorous event hosted by one of Olivia's colleagues, was supposed to be a chance for them to reconnect. Olivia had insisted that Ethan attend, claiming it was important for him to meet her friends. Eager to restore the intimacy they once shared, Ethan welcomed the opportunity. Olivia, as always, was excited about the evening, spending days planning her outfit. Ethan thought it was just her usual flair for style, though part of him sensed something more was at play. He had no idea that the night would reveal a betrayal that would shatter his trust and their marriage. As they arrived at the event, Ethan felt a surge of pride as Olivia walked by his side. Her beauty turned heads, and for a brief moment, he allowed himself to believe in the life they had built. Olivia, glowing in a sleek black gown, radiated elegance as she mingled with their friends. But that illusion quickly began to fade. Ethan, unable to shake the growing suspicion, watched as Olivia's attention shifted toward Ryan, a tall, charismatic colleague who seemed to command her every glance and laugh. At first, Ethan tried to convince himself it was nothing, just professional camaraderie. But the way Olivia leaned in, the sparkle in her eyes when Ryan spoke, was something more. It was a familiarity of someone who had become much more than just a colleague. It was a closeness that Ethan hadn't felt from her in a long time. In that moment, something inside him shattered. This wasn't the woman he had married. The woman he had known and loved was slipping away, captivated by someone else. The cracks in their marriage had been there for some time, but tonight they were exposed. Olivia was no longer his, not in the way he had hoped. The evening he had envisioned as a rekindling of their love had turned into the moment he realized he had lost her. Ethan understood that once the truth came to light, nothing would ever be the same. The painful revelation of Olivia's betrayal would forever alter their relationship, leaving him to grapple with heartbreak, betrayal, and the decisions that would follow. What was meant to be a night celebrating love and unity had instead become a harsh reminder that even the most perfect relationships can crumble under the weight of unspoken truths. Ethan's mind raced, his chest tightening with an unsettling feeling. Ethan tried to shake off the growing sense of unease, telling himself he was overthinking things. But as the night wore on, his suspicions only deepened. Olivia, who had always been his world, seemed more interested in the party than in him. When he had asked her to introduce him to her friends, she waved him off with a casual, "I'll do it later," left standing alone at the edge of the room, nursing his drink, Ethan observed her from a distance. Ryan wasn't just a colleague. He was someone Olivia clearly admired. Ethan couldn't help but notice how they naturally gravitated toward each other. As the evening unfolded, their exchanges grew more frequent, more intimate. Every shared laugh, every stolen glance between them felt like an unspoken accusation, a slap in the face. Ethan tried to reassure himself, convincing himself it was all in his head, but the weight in his chest only grew heavier. What had started as a night of celebration was quickly transforming into something much darker. His suspicions were no longer just doubts. They were becoming undeniable truths. When the live band struck up a slow, romantic tune, inviting couples to the dance floor, Ethan felt a fleeting glimmer of hope. Perhaps this could be the moment to salvage the evening, to remind Olivia of the bond they once shared. With a hopeful smile, he approached her and extended his hand. "Care to dance?" he asked, his voice earnest, filled with longing. Olivia hesitated, her eyes scanning the room before she offered a faint smile. "Oh, Ethan, I'm exhausted. Maybe later," she said, brushing him off before heading toward the bar. Ethan stood there, disappointment washing over him. He tried to convince himself it was nothing, that he was imagining the growing distance between them. But a moment later, the truth was staring him in the face. Olivia wasn't at the bar as she had claimed. She was in Ryan's arms, swaying effortlessly to the music, her head tilted back in laughter. Her eyes sparkled as Ryan leaned in to whisper something in her ear. The closeness between them was unmistakable. It was clear to anyone watching that their connection was far deeper than just friendship. Ethan's chest tightened as a flood of emotions threatened to overwhelm him. Was this what had been happening all along? The late nights, the secrecy, the growing coldness at home. Had it all led to this moment? His emotions swung between anger, sadness, and a strange sense of relief. At least now he had clarity. But Ethan wasn't the type to cause a scene. Instead of storming over to confront them, he stood silently, taking in every painful detail. The way Olivia's hand rested on Ryan's shoulder, the way her gaze lingered on him like he was the only person in the room. It was too much to bear. His resolve hardened. If Olivia wanted to make her choice public, then so would he. The evening, once filled with laughter and conversation, took a sharp turn as Ethan made his way toward the stage. The host had just announced the closing toast, and Ethan seized the moment. Taking the microphone, he cleared his throat, his voice calm and steady, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside him. "Good evening, everyone," he began, his tone even. "Thank you all for being here tonight. I'd like to propose a toast to truth, because truth has a funny way of revealing itself when you least expect it." The crowd fell silent, their attention drawn to Ethan's unexpected speech. Olivia, who had been standing near the dance floor, froze. The color drained from her face as her eyes locked on him. "Tonight, I learned something valuable," Ethan continued, his voice unwavering. "It's heartbreaking to realize that the person you devoted your life to has chosen someone else." His gaze shifted to Olivia. "Olivia, thank you for making it clear who you truly are." Gasps rippled through the crowd as Olivia's expression morphed from shock to horror. Ryan stepped forward as if to intervene, but Ethan ignored him, his eyes locked on Olivia. He set the microphone down and walked off the stage. The silence in the room was deafening, broken only by hushed murmurs and whispers. Ethan didn't look back as he walked out of the venue, his heart heavy but his mind resolute. The crisp night air hit him like a cold slap, a sharp contrast to the stifling atmosphere of betrayal inside. Driving home in silence, his mind replayed the evening's events. The pain was raw, but beneath the heartbreak, there was a strange sense of liberation. For the first time in months, he felt free from the doubts, the suspicion, and the constant questioning. The next day, Ethan confronted Olivia privately. She was tearful, pleading for forgiveness and offering excuses that did nothing to repair the damage. But the truth had already settled deep within Ethan's heart. Her actions had shattered his trust beyond repair. "I'm sorry," Olivia cried, her tears flowing freely. "I never meant to hurt you." But Ethan couldn't hear her anymore. The trust between them was gone, and there was no way to rebuild it. He filed for divorce, determined to move forward with his life, no longer shackled by betrayal. With the support of his friends and family, Ethan threw himself into his work, focusing on growing his business and rediscovering his passions. Slowly, he began to heal. Looking back, Ethan realized that the night at the gala had been more than just the end of his marriage. It had been the beginning of something new, a journey toward self-respect and a future where he would finally put himself first. He deserved honesty, loyalty, and love, things Olivia had failed to give him. That night, when Olivia chose someone else, it wasn't just the end of a chapter. It was the start of a new story, one where Ethan would reclaim his life and embrace the future he truly deserved. So guys, if you all liked today's story, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.